CBN announced that they would stop giving money to BDCs. Some Nigerians were concerned. How did you receive that news at that time?
I'm one of those people who have always wondered why we have BDCs in the country. Because the major function of a BDC, a Bureau d'Echange, is to make foreign currency available to individuals in the country, whether it be private citizens or foreign nationals. Now, the irony to it is that the BDCs sell at a higher rate than you will get at your bank. So I've always wondered what the purpose of a BDC is if you can get the FX at a cheaper rate at your bank. I've never really understood it. But it turns out that the CBN, in its wisdom, has decided to finally scrap it. And I'm not sure there are many countries that have this system. So for me, I wasn't too upset with it. I just feel what the CBN needs to do is to make it more available via bank.
Yeah, but in the past, Tunji, I mean, I've tried a couple of times or more to get foreign currency, and they'll tell you they don't have, even when you have the documents required. So I think that was one of the reasons why the BDCs became more powerful and more useful to Nigerians that did to travel or change money.
Yeah, I agree with you, and this is honestly the truth. And I mean, BDCs became a thing in Nigeria during the military, when, of course, there were so many in and outs with how the nation was being run. But it's a thing that has outlived its usefulness. Now, I'll explain to you why it has outlived its usefulness. The CBN sells roughly about $210 million to BDCs every year. Every week, sorry. That is prior to the stoppage of the sales to BDCs. $210 million. Let's say $210 million could easily be distributed amongst bank branches so that it is available at walk-in, just the same way. Because you know the funny thing about the BDC conversation is, you go to a BDC, you don't go with cash. You go to the BDC, you say, what's your account number? You transfer from your bank to the BDC.
Yeah.
The BDC then transfers the cash to you. Or if the BDC is there to give you cash, what I see most people doing is that they tell the BDC to meet them in a bank branch, and then they collect the cash and then pay it into their bank account. That is absolutely weird, because if you look at it in the context, you're still passing the bank. So why doesn't the CBN just remove the external entity and just use the bank? But the context has been an inefficiency on the part of the CBN and the bank that has made this grow to become the monster that it is. But give or take, it should be removed because it adds an added layer to the conversation around foreign exchange, which of course the CBN finally realized. But I get it. Nigerians have been used to getting the FX from the street. They've been used to, oh, I want to change dollar. My guy, how much is dollar? And they change it via those methods. It's been the way we've always known. But if you want to look at it from a logical point of view and an economic point of view, it's not an efficient method. So we could continue doing it the wrong way, or we could change and do it the right way.
So the right way for you is for the CBN to work with the banks to ensure it gets to Nigerians who need the money, right?
Absolutely. Even if you go to South Africa, you would realize that you don't just find people on the street saying, hey, do you want to buy dollars? You go to a proper store where you see the rate officially stated there, and you can change it at those regulated entities. It's the same way almost everywhere in the world. This is just a system we've created in the anyhowness of Nigeria, and we've made it become a part of life. But it shouldn't be.
So exporters are complaining now, and they're saying that they're unable to get forex.
Yes, that is another conversation altogether, and I think this is why the CBN has become a bit defensive with the conversation. But I think transparency and honesty is what is required in this conversation. And this is the honest truth. We don't have enough FX. As a country, we do not have enough to go around for people, who want to buy who want to import everything that they normally import. If you look at our FX drain, the largest consumer of FX in Nigeria is still PMS. That is petrol that importers buy to make it available to all Nigerians. If, for instance, we're able to remove that from our need of FX, then you would realize that it would be a little bit more available to everybody. But the general context is that CBN has a limited source of foreign exchange. And that means that it can't give it out unlimitedly to everybody. We don't print dollars in Nigeria. We print only Naira. So what it basically means is that every dollar that is available in Nigeria must be earned, either by oil or by individuals going to do business, or by foreign exchange, or by foreign portfolio investment. Foreign portfolio investment has dipped over the last few years. Foreign direct investment has dipped over the last few years. Our crude oil sales are not as big as it used to be, and our businesses are not spending money as they used to spend. So you get what is happening. It's not that CBN just has the dollars and wants to eat it all. The fact is that they don't have enough, and the irony is that they should let people know that it can't go round. But instead of doing that, it's like, oh, we have it, but we don't want to give you. And then people are now, trying to find means and ways to be able to get the FX. We don't have it. And this is the end of the story. Because if you are a father or a mother and your child says, buy me a remote control car, and you don't have the money to buy a remote control car, irrespective of the love you have for the child, you won't, at least you won't go still to buy the remote control car, which is the issue that the CBN has right now. But transparency is always a problem with any Nigerian government.
So what can businesses do if they need this money, and before now they could get it at the BDCs, and you say it's not available? Now that it's back to the CBN and the banks, it's not available. So what can businesses do?
So especially big businesses, and I'm not talking about businesses that need things like $25,000 and the rest. I'm talking about businesses that are looking for like maybe 300 million and the likes. They usually know where they get it from. So what happens is, a lot of time there's always a peer-to-peer selling. So a business that is a non-Nigerian business but has Nigerian operations brings in some money, and then it wants to sell that money, but it doesn't want to also take all that huge load to the open market to look for another business and then sell to that business. And also, we assume for the BDCs that they still don't have dollars to sell. They honestly still do. It's weird. It's just that the cheap source of dollars for them has just been eliminated. And this is what many Nigerians don't really realize. So the BDC buys dollars at 430, 440 from the CBN and sells to you at 510, 520, 530. And you go away happy because you've gotten the dollars. The BDC has made 70 naira, 80 naira off every single dollar you buy without basically having to do much, because they just have a license. It doesn't require much skill to have a license to do a BDC. But the thing is, every single time the central bank sells the dollar at 400 and something, the CBN is intervening to make sure it is at that price. So for the fact that they are spending money to keep it at the level it is, it makes no sense to just spend it irrationally. For me, I would have been a lot more open if I was a CBN governor, so that every Nigerian understands the issues from the beginning to the end. So that it's not like I am just trying to be high-handed. It's a case of, should we continue to waste money just because some people want to get this? Or should they go and look for it where they can get it? Because the truth is, if you're a business person in Nigeria and you're doing business and you're using dollars worth of 300 million and above, and you don't know where to get FX apart from BDCs, then you probably shouldn't be doing business.
So what about SMEs? Because, for the big business guys, let's assume that they know where to get the money. What about the SMEs?
Yeah. So I'm an SME myself. There was recently when I was trying to get a very ridiculous amount. I was trying to pay a vendor in Italy, and it was a very tiny amount, less than 500 euros. It was difficult to get it. I've never seen how difficult it was to be able to get FX at that before. But eventually I was able to get the money across to the person. Again, my point is there are ways and means. I was trying to use the banks. Of course, the banks being what they are, failed me multiple times. I even finally got physical euros, paid it into a euro account, and tried to transfer it, and I was told I couldn't transfer physical FX. I had to get transferred FX to be able to transfer out, which is amazing. But yeah, last, it's what I decided to do in the country. Now, what I eventually did was a peer-to-peer conversation. So I paid somebody in Italy who wanted to send money home. So instead of the person sending, I sent it to the person's Naira account in Nigeria. The person was able to transfer the money to their family, and then the person was able to help me make the payment in Italy. Now, what I'm saying is not trying to make the issues of SMEs trivial. I just told you my own issue with trying to find FX. I'm just saying that there are ways to go around it. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to waste resources. I am not a fan of the CBN and the CBN governor, so this is not me holding grief for them. But I'm an economist, and I understand the real implications of what we are doing by having a BDC, a second-tier level to our FX exchange rate. What happens is that every time the BDC rate goes to 570, 580, the pressure is on the real rate, because the BDC rate is not the real official rate of the Naira. Every time it goes up, it puts pressure on the official rate of the Naira to go up. What it means is that speculators start to stand against the Naira to make sure that it goes close to that figure. We don't see it because we just needed to quickly do something, and we've done it and we've moved on. The further implications of the Naira are just disastrous, and I think it's something we all really need to understand. But again, transparency is a problem we have in this country.
So as it is, would you say that the CBN's policy is working for the end user?
It's working. I don't think so yet, because I don't see anything that they've done different from what they've been doing. Honestly, what the CBN should have done, and this is me if I was the CBN governor, make it available at every bank. At least give every bank a certain stash of FX to be able to sell to people over the counter with legitimate claims on a daily basis. And also, if you can, get your social media people to make it public every time somebody buys FX from somewhere. Because think about it. If you are looking or trying to call your guy who sells FX to you, and the guy tells you, dollar is now 570, and then somebody tweets that, I just bought from social bank social FX at 430. There's nobody telling you that you would automatically not call that guy again and try to get it from your bank. But these are the simple things that the CBN should be doing that it's not doing, that is expanding the problem. Because these things are just an issue of human nature. Humans will always go to where they can find an item easiest. Why would we go out to a mountain when we can quickly take water from the stream? That is the issue that the CBN doesn't seem to understand. So working, no. But I understand why they are doing it, and I understand why it needs to be done. But they've not done the things to make it work.
Okay, let's talk a bit about the AbokiFX matter with the CBN. Yeah. Can you explain it to us?
All right, so there is a law that states that the CBN, you shouldn't publish the exchange rates on public mediums without express permission of the monetary authority. The CBN probably just remember that law because they, in my mind, are uncomfortable with the AbokiFX scenario. AbokiFX is not the reason why our FX rates on the parallel side, that is the black market, started to go up. AbokiFX just happened to be in the line of fire, so to say, a casualty of war. Now, the general consensus on the streets is that most of the time, when people are trying to exchange FX or trying to find what the FX rate is, AbokiFX have been
the go-to place.
Efficient enough to be changing the rate on a regular basis. So people believe that in the morning it could be this rate, in the afternoon it could be a different rate. So they generally tend to go there. And of course, it's been the general gist, let's check AbokiFX, so that we'll know the exchange rate. The CBN felt the pressure on that conversation because every time any foreign newspaper reports that the Naira has lost value, or a Nigerian newspaper reads that the Naira has lost value, or even the radio and TV stations report that the Naira value has depreciated, the place they usually quote is AbokiFX. On the official window, that has not happened. What happened was that on the open black market, the rate of the Naira went up. So when you continue to report it as the official value of the Naira, what happens is that any monetary authority would be concerned. But unfortunately, our central bank believes that the way to attack such an issue is to go after the owner of the AbokiFX. In the real context of things, if you really feel this person or this entity or this website is causing you trouble, what you do is make them irrelevant. That is how you fix anything like this. You make it irrelevant, because if AbokiFX is posting 530 Naira and somebody is buying it at 430 and is posting it on the social media or our social media handles, AbokiFX becomes irrelevant. Because everybody will be like, that AbokiFX doesn't even know what they are saying because I still bought it at 430. That is how you make entities like that irrelevant. Going after them just makes AbokiFX bigger than it is. There are people that didn't know what AbokiFX was until 2 weeks ago. But all of a sudden, every Nigerian now in the world knows what AbokiFX is, which you shouldn't do as a monetary policy authority. But unfortunately, we are here.
Tunji, what exactly makes the Naira depreciate?
It's a simple law of demand and supply. There's nothing more. So let me point it out this way. There's a reason why the dollar continues to be strong. And that is because everybody around the world, even Nigerians, are trying to buy dollars. And there's a limited amount of dollars available to the entire world, right? So if people in China are trying to buy dollars, if people in Budapest are trying to buy dollars, people in Ghana are trying to buy dollars, that means everybody is bidding for the same exact dollar, right? Now, in the same context, the thing that happens to the value of the Naira is supply and demand. So just think about it in the opposite. The way everybody around the world is trying to buy dollars is similar to the same way everybody in the world is trying to get rid of Naira. You get? Now, because there's very little demand for Naira in terms of very few people outside the world asking to buy Naira and not too many Nigerians trying to exchange another foreign currency to collect Naira, it means that the demand for the Naira continues to reduce. Now, the thing that could make it increase is that if we started to sell a lot more goods to foreign entities, so they want to come and buy our goods and services. But when they come to buy our goods and services, they won't buy it in dollars, they will buy it in Naira, maybe bring their dollars and buy it in Naira. All those things immediately translate into demand for the Naira. So probably if we had, maybe an electronics store manufacturer in Nigeria, and then foreign investors, maybe importers from China, importers from Ghana, came in to buy those electronics. When they will come in with their dollars to buy Naira and then take these electronics out. They will come in demanding they want Naira because they want to buy those electronics, or they want to buy cars that are made in Nigeria. But because we do not have this, it means that the only demand for the Naira is one that the monetary authority creates. So that is every time the CBN or the government takes the dollar that they made outside and uses it to buy Naira, just to make sure that the value of the Naira is kept stable and there's some sort of demand for the Naira.
Wow. Okay. So for the end users, an import-dependent economy, what does that mean in the long run? What would this mean?
It means it spells a lot of doom. It spells a lot of doom. That's the reason why it continues to go up, because none of us are trying to buy the naira. There's nobody actively waking up in the morning and saying, I need to go and use my FX to go and buy naira. Most people would rather keep their dollars as long as they can possibly keep it, rather than change it into naira. There's nobody demanding the naira. There's no reason why you should even demand naira. If you look at it outrightly, even the little things we we export, like spices and all the rest, we export them and sell them in dollars in those countries. There's nobody coming to demand for the naira. So generally, when the law of supply demand says that when there is a lot of supply and very little demand, prices will go down. And it will continue to go down as long as there is a lot of supply and very little demand.
All right. Thank you very much, Tunji Andrews, for your time.
Yes, I appreciate it.
All right. Tunji Andrews is my guest, joins me from Lagos, the co-founder of Awaba, financial literacy advocate, macroeconomics thought leader, and of course, media personality. My name is Enoh Enigma. Very commercial has to play, and the lines will be open, and we'll take messages on this side. Good morning.
10 years of Nigeria Info. 10 years of talking development. Be part of the Zoom event marking our 10th year anniversary with the team. Revamping basic education, a key factor in Nigeria's development. Keynote speaker, Sir Ikechi Wogu, co-founder and director of administration and people operations, Same Forest. Date, October 1st, 2021. Time, 11 a.m. To participate, click on the link on our post on Facebook and Instagram to register. For more details, visit at Nigeria Info PH on Facebook and Instagram. Be part of the Zoom event marking our 10 years of talking development.
This is the Morning Crossfire on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Thank you for staying tuned. We've got 19 minutes before 9 o'clock. Yes. And we're talking about foreign exchange, how it affects you and I. The manufacturers are saying they're having a hard time. Some have had to close shop. Some have had to downsize because they're not able to access the dollar from the banks. CBN says we're stopping sales to BDCs. That was sometime, I think, in July. And they said they're going to work out a desk at banks. You go there, show them your documents, and you get the dollar. But it looks like that's not happening. Tunji says, well, transparency is a big issue here. That CBN cannot give what it doesn't have. And he tried to explain how the Naira will continue to depreciate because we're not producing, we're just consuming, and consuming. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0009. Comments and contributions are welcome. We have Elizabeth from Benin. Enoh, I think it is the ease of getting foreign currency from the BDCs as opposed to getting it from the banks that makes it more attractive. Even now, it's not easy to get it from the banks. Okay. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Ryan.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm calling from Anna Church.
Okay.
Okay, the last guy you spoke with, Tunji, I think he said everything already. But there's one thing he failed to mention. He failed to mention the word corruption. Are you with me?
I'm listening.
Okay, corruption is an actual problem we have in Nigeria. Corruption, because it doesn't make any sense at all. You want to do forex exchange, you want to do transfers, you go to the bank. I was at the bank like 2 months back. I wanted to make a transfer to the US. Inside the bank, I told the guy in the bank, I don't want to have any physical contact with money. Debit my account and credit my dollar account. Debit my local account and credit my dollar account and make the transfer to me. She said no. And he actually referred me to the Bureau de Change guys. Just across the line there. On the same counter, just at the end of the counter.
2 weeks ago.
Actually, they even have an office inside the bank.
2 weeks ago.
About 2 months ago.
2 months ago. So just, okay.
So I was like, really? So the Aboki guys now have an office in your bank, inside the bank. They said that's how it works here. So I had to go to the Aboki guy. The Aboki guy now credited my dollar account. I now transferred Naira into his account. So it didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't understand how I'm going to come into a bank that's supposed to have forex to do transaction, and they're referring me now to an Aboki guy inside the bank. If that is not corruption, please tell me what is corruption.
Wow.
How will the central bank say they didn't know you sell dollar to the newly changed people at 400, 390 something, and across the road they just cross the road and they sell it at 500, 520. It's been going on for years, and you're telling me every time to tell me that you're just finding out that something is happening. I mean, it is called gross corruption. So if you want to fix this thing, the CBN governor, everybody that is involved in this thing should be fired. Where are these forex people? Where are they getting the forex from? Where are the Hausa people that sell this money outside? Where did they get it from? That the banks cannot get, that the CBN cannot get and give to the banks. Where are they getting it from? What does it take to get a license? A really change license now is about 20 million naira. And you see an individual will have like 2-3 licenses. Imagine how much people are making. An individual have like 2-3 licenses and getting dollars from the bank. And you buy it at 300 or 400 naira, and you cross the road, you get a 520, 530. It's gross corruption.
All right.
So I think Tunji said it all, He said it all. It's corruption, and the government had to look into it, and it has been going on for years. We're so comfortable with corruption in Nigeria, I don't know why. I mean, it's a terrible situation.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Thank you so much.
Yes, how do you go to a bank to get Forex and they, tell you, talk to this BDC guy. He's our guy. Abir Andy says the CBN is on the right track. This can only be sustained through local production. Also, when Dangote Refinery starts working and we don't pay dollars, the Naira will appreciate. Let them hold on. It will shock you. How does a government wait for a private business to show up the Naira? How does that even work? Good morning.
Hello, Enoh. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, Enoh. I listened to your speaker diligently, and he actually fitted the nail. And I look at the last speaker as well. What he told you is the fact. Did you know I once worked internationally, and I have an account with Standard Bank. It's a foreign bank. That's why I have my foreign account. But do you know that same bank use official exchange rate? But because of this black market who has invaded into Nigeria, they want to make more money. You know what we do? We will call our bookie just like what that man did now. And say, how much is your dollar? He will tell you. Because you want double money, what happens? You transfer the dollar to him, and he gives you back in naira. You make more money, destroying the economy of the country. So, if government wants to do this thing, they know what to do. I call another bank. I will not mention his name. Close to Waja, after Standard Bank. I went there. They directed me to a room where I said, what is happening here? It's inside bank. Yeah, Aboki, putting hand in Agbada, bringing out euro, bringing out dollar, bank balance. If you convert those money, there are millions of dollars, millions of naira, sorry, please. So, how do we monitor this? Just like what that brother said. CBN should publish on daily basis. We have just mentioned the dollar exchange rate this morning. I listened to you carefully. I asked myself, where are we heading to? So, I believe that central bank knows what to do. If they do not want to play a lip service because of their bookies or the malan, they can be able to handle the matter. Thank you so much, Enoh.
All right, thank you. So like Tunji Andrew said, they went to the BDCs, or people go to the BDCs because it's easier. I've been to the bank a few times. I want dollars, and they say we don't have. What do? I have my documents. I want to travel. I have to look for it somewhere else now. What do I do? So they make it difficult. If the bank should have the dollar and they don't have it, then people have to find a way. Okay, this one says, any information... No, that's another matter. Don't be like that. On Facebook at Nigerian4PH, Wilcox Daniel says, what Tunji has said is totally true. I don't know the kind of advices our president has. Our currency is not appreciating at all. Why not ban importation of certain goods and then mobilize those local manufacturers of those goods and then export the banned goods? Must we import every good in Nigeria? Our foreign policies and just nonsense. May God help Nigeria. So, we have this conversation every now and then. Local production, we need lights. Primarily, we need to have power supply for them to power, their systems. Then we also need equipment. Are we producing anything? The ones that are being produced locally, do they have government support? Daniel Yobe says, I think the problem is from the banks, for example. You can hardly find new 200 naira notes in the banks, but just go to Garrison, you find people selling brand new 200 naira notes. Where did they get it from? The banks are the problem. They sell the dollars to these black markets at a high rate. We're Nigerian folk. Good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Zion, good morning to you.
Okay.
For me, I believe that even CBN is exonerating themselves from their failure. CBN is the problem. The recent policies they introduced to Nigeria affected the dollar inflow in this country. Are you aware that CBN gave a stand mark that over or below $20,000 should not be found in your body when coming to Nigeria. This is where the problem. Do you also know that their policy, the state on exportation, the tariffs, the VAT, made Nigerians were not able to export goods? Now we are talking about the exchange rate, FX. Look at us within. Tell me which bank you will go to today. You want to withdraw from the ATM, they will pay you 20 naira. Or they will pay you 50 naira or pay you 100. No, I want to tell me which bank, which ATM is paying 100 naira note here in Nigeria. CBN is the problem. And the people in charge of CBN should be fired. They don't understand how economy are growing. They set up policies, maybe one peer power the other, and today Nigerians are suffering. Let us leave about the crude oil price in the national market. Let's leave that alone. There are other sources we can grow the naira. Do you know today Nigeria cannot export common beans again to Europe? They were Nigerians exporting cocoa. They cannot do it any longer. And don't forget, when you send these goods there, they buy it in dollar. You are bringing your dollar to Nigeria. And the first place you are going to the bank. And the availability of dollar in the bank is unprecedented. But today, you cannot achieve that. Until we get the right people doing the right thing, Nigerians will keep crying and suffering unnecessarily.
All right.
As you see,
Thank
the
you.
CBN boss should be fired.
All right. Gabriel is in Transamadi. Good morning, Gabriel.
Yeah, morning, Enoh. There is something that they do many things and to came into power. And the first thing that they did was to stop our Naira cards from functioning properly outside the country. Originally, if you travel, you can use a Naira card to withdraw that country's currency. I've done it several times in South Africa. And pay for whatever I want to put, shouldn't or anything. What they did was first disable the card. And that starts making us to look for dollars physically. There was a time I was in SA. I was paying some money for it. And I was told I can take only $100 per day. It was so frustrating. You have to start splitting money to 7 naira and be withdrawing just once, just like that. Let them do the first thing first. The same way they came and lost our cards from you for us to send this naira outside the country, not POS. You used to withdraw the country's currency at the official exchange rate. But that's no longer possible. And that's why they are all going to look for physical dollars to travel with. And they are rude. You can't even save so much money on your journey out of the country. So you have to pay for some bills. You now need to go to the bank and be filling forms here and there. And in here, there's no USD. First thing first, allow the Naira card to be able to withdraw in these different countries where they are from the Naira account. Naturally, the need for physical dollar will go down. And there will be some level of sanity. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Gabriel, for calling. That is all we can take this morning on the phone calls. Let's take a message or two. CBN suspended AbokiFX is just like blaming the weather reporter for the bad weather. It's crystal clear. Mifle doesn't understand the laws of supply and demand. Ebi Bozimo says it will be interesting to compare the amounts that have been used to defend the Naira versus the amount needed to improve the electricity sector in Nigeria, which will be critical for productive activity. So Smart is asking from Agri Estate why we cannot buy items online once it exceeds $100. That's a cap that the banks have put. I'm not sure why, but perhaps we'll revisit that matter. We'll speak to him off the show and then throw that into the news. But thank you for joining the conversation. We keep our eyes on it. AbokiFX is offline, but the dollar continues to rise. My name is Enoh Enigma. Good morning.